It's one of those things that's totally universal, right? It's infectious. Sometimes you just can't control it. We all laugh, but have you ever, really stopped to think about what's going on when we do? It's something we do every day, but it's actually a huge mystery. I mean, it seems so simple, right? Just a sound we make. But the science behind it? Whoa, it's way deeper and more complex than you'd think. So, yeah, that's the big question for today. Why in the world do we laugh? Let's dive in and really break down the science. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by digging into what's happening inside our own heads, the whole psychological side of things. Then we'll zoom out and look at how laughter works between people, socially. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the brain science, and finally, we'll tie it all together to figure out the real reason we laugh. Okay, first stop on our tour, the psychological engine. What is going on in our minds that sparks this totally weird but awesome reaction we call laughter? So, when we try to figure out what's happening in our minds, two classic and pretty different ideas pop up. First, you've got the incongruity theory. Think of this as the surprise theory. It's that laugh you let out when a punchline takes a completely unexpected turn, and your brain gets this little kick out of figuring it out. But then there's the much darker idea, the superiority theory. And yeah, that connects right back to that whole superiority thing. The philosopher Thomas Hobbes, way back in 1651, he didn't mince words. He called laughter sudden glory. You know that feeling. It's what happens when we see someone, say, slip on a banana peel. For a split second, we feel this flash of being better off than they are. I know, it's not our proudest moment, but come on, you know it's true. Okay, but it's not always about surprise or feeling superior. The famous Sigmund Freud, he had a different idea. He saw laughter as a kind of psychological pressure valve. Just picture a super tense moment. Everyone's on edge, and then someone cracks a joke. That laugh that erupts? According to Freud, the relief theory, that's literally all that nervous energy just bursting out. It's like a huge emotional sigh of relief. And taking that idea a step further, you get the psychological immunity theory. This one paints humor as our mind's built-in defense shield. It's that dark, gallows humor you hear from people in really tough jobs, like doctors or soldiers. It's a way to cope, to take a horrible situation and shrink it down so it doesn't have as much power over you. All right, but here's the thing. Laughter isn't just something that happens inside our heads. It's one of the most powerful tools we have for connecting with other people. It's basically social glue. So all those psychological theories are great, but they kind of miss a huge piece of the puzzle. Get this. Researchers have found that we are 30 times more likely to laugh when we're with other people than when we're by ourselves. 30 times. That's massive. So what does that tell us? It tells us laughter is a powerful social signal. It's a way of communicating without words. It says, hey, I'm friendly, or we're on the same team, or you're accepted here. It's how we build bonds. I mean, seriously, try to remember the last time you had a real, genuine belly laugh with someone you couldn't stand. It's pretty much impossible, right? Even Charles Darwin thought this went way, way back to our evolutionary roots. He suggested that for our early ancestors, laughter was a flat-out survival tool. It was a quick way to signal to the group, it's safe here, we can trust each other, we're all in this together. And in a dangerous world, that kind of group cohesion, that could literally be the difference between life and death. Okay, so we've covered the mind and we've covered the social stuff. Now let's get down to the hardware. Let's look at what's actually happening inside our brains. What's the chemical cocktail that makes laughing feel so good? So when you hear a joke, your brain just springs into action. It's basically a three-step dance. First, your prefrontal cortex, that's the smart, logical part of your brain, it gets the joke, it processes the surprise. Then bam, your amygdala, the emotional hub, lights up. And finally, the best part, the nucleus accumbens, which is your brain's reward center, just floods your system with this feeling of pure pleasure. It's a perfect little loop. And that amazing feeling of pleasure? Well, you can thank these guys for that. When you laugh, your brain releases this awesome cocktail of happy chemicals. We're talking a shot of dopamine, that's the reward and pleasure chemical, and a rush of endorphins, which are basically your body's own natural painkillers. Your brain is literally giving you a cookie just for getting a joke. How cool is that? But wait, it gets even crazier. How do we get what someone else is feeling when they laugh? There's this idea called the embodied simulation theory, and it suggests that when we see or hear someone else laugh, our brain doesn't just observe it, it simulates it. It recreates that same emotion inside our own nervous system. So in a very real way, we're actually feeling a shadow of what they're feeling. And the engine behind all this? Something called mirror neurons. These are amazing brain cells that make emotions contagious. They fire when we do something, like laugh, but they also fire when we simply watch someone else do it. This is exactly why laughter is so contagious. It's the reason one person's little giggle can turn into a whole room roaring with laughter. It's basically empathy, hardwired right into our skulls. Okay, deep breath. We've talked psychology, we've talked social connection, we've talked brain chemistry. So let's put all the pieces together. Let's ask that big question one more time. Why do we really laugh? There's one last theory I love, and it's called the play theory. It's a really beautiful idea. It says that at its very core, laughter is just a form of play. When we laugh together, we create this kind of magic circle where the serious, everyday rules of life are temporarily suspended. It's just a space to be creative, to feel joy, and to be in the moment for no reason at all. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you see that these different ideas aren't fighting with each other. Not at all. They actually fit together perfectly. The psychological stuff explains the mental click that makes us laugh. The social theories explain why we do it with others. And the biology, well, that explains the amazing chemical reward our brain gives us for doing it. So what's the big takeaway here? What's the bottom line? It's this. There's no single simple answer to why we laugh. The most important thing to get is that all of these theories are part of the answer. They're all threads in the same tapestry, working together to create this amazing, complex, and totally universal human experience. Honestly, laughter is kind of a masterpiece of evolution, isn't it? It's working on so many levels at once. It's cognitive, it's a little puzzle for our brain. It's social, a bridge that connects us to other people. And it's biological, a chemical treat that feels great and makes us want to do it again. So here's a little challenge for you. The next time you find yourself just cracking up, laughing uncontrollably, just for a second, pause and ask yourself, what kind of laugh is this? Am I solving a puzzle? Am I connecting with the people around me? Or am I just playing?